guys, it's Nico from Steel City Vintage, and for today's video we're going to be unboxing a mystery box together. Now, a different box did come earlier, but it's from the same client, so I did take these out. They're empty. It does give us a little bit of an idea of what we might find in here. This is just an empty old Rolex box, and this is a box I've never seen before. It looks like an oyster, obviously. Red cloth, very like 70s like. I do know there's some Omegas in here, which will come to nobody's surprise, being that this is Steel City Vintage, but I don't know everything that's in here, so I figured that this might be a great opportunity to just kind of get an insight on a little bit of a day in the life of a vintage watch dealer and take a look at unboxing some cool stuff together. Alright, so let's get into it. Alright, so first up, okay, cool. So this is a Tudor Submariner. Let me get this out first so we can get a better look at what reference it is. Yeah, so this is a Tudor Submariner reference 7928. So this is Tudor's third iteration with the Submariner. They did the 7922 first and the 7923. Those both came without crown guards. This was the first iteration, to my knowledge, that they included crown guards. Similar to Rolex's subs, they had different iterations. They started out with a chapter ring dial, closed chapter ring. Can't really say it was gilt because it wasn't glossy, it was matte finish. Initially that came with gold lettering. They did move to silver lettering and then into the open chapter ring. That's what this is. This is an open chapter ring, glossy dial. This one should be around 1966, 1967. They only made the glossy dial for about 1 year. It went from matte dial to then glossy dial for like a year, and then they went back to matte dial, and making this a little bit more desirable. This has some crazy patina to the dial. It's like half the dial is cream lume, half the dial is dark green lume. The case on this watch is absolutely phenomenal. Very sharp. You can see all of the beveled edges on all of the lugs. This is a really cool example. And I'm guessing that this is probably what this box is correlated to. Yeah, Tudor. Coolest box. I mean, I haven't seen another box like that. Even has the watch holder and looks like the paper. So this is a full set without the bracelet. But I can always put a strap or something like that on here. So really nice way to start off. Let's see what else we got in here. It's a bunch of watches. Okay, so this is an Omega bumper movement, so this makes that a 2577. We know that because the 2577 was a center second configuration, the 2576 was the sub-second iteration. This one has developed a wild patina, brown, almost like an orangish color to the dial. I know patina is not for everybody. It's really a personal preference. Some prefer a very clear dial. Others don't mind it. It does add character. There's some crazy hazing to this crystal as well, but it's unmarked, so this is not the original crystal. The case on this one has been polished quite a bit, but it does have the original crown, which is nice. So a cool little Seamaster. I love Omega. I think it's a great entry into vintage watches. Under especially some good Seamasters under $1,000. I don't think that you can go wrong with an Omega. I don't think there's a better option at that point. What else do we got here? Okay. So I haven't handled one of these in a long time. This is an Omega Ranchero white dial version, which is the more uncommon of the two. I personally prefer the black dial just because of aesthetics, but the white dial is undoubtedly more uncommon. This is such a cool watch. It's very Explorer-esque with the the 12, 3, and 9. This has a sub-second versus the Explorer that was center seconds, but this has also a broad arrow, giving it its own kind of unique charm to it. Quick history on this one, they only made it a couple of years. It came right after the big trilogy, which was the Speedmaster, Seamaster, and Railmaster, but you could kind of categorize it as part of the big four, if you will, but only made for a couple of years with the Ranchero name on the dial. To the markets that were Spanish speaking, it was I guess kind of offensive from the history that I've read up on, and Omega swiftly changed the name to a Seamaster. So there's a Seamaster version of this that carries the same case and a lot of the same aesthetics, but they did change the name. So this being only produced for approximately 2 years does make it, as far as Omega is concerned, quite rare, which is a really cool watch. I haven't handled one of these in a long time, so that's pretty neat. Was not expecting that one. Next we have, open this up. Excuse me, sometimes these things are really wedged in there. Okay, so a 1675 Rolex GMT. So this was their second generation GMT. This is a gilt dial, which is really cool. Open chapter ring. The hands on this one could possibly have been reloomed. They look slightly different color than the dial, but the dial looks like it's in fantastic shape. I don't see any cracking in the lacquer, which is something that's very common the way that these dials were made. Oftentimes, they're very beautiful, but you would get some cracking in that, the glossy black part. The lume plots look like they're fully intact. The bezel, while nicely faded, does have some wear on it, so it is an honest watch. It's definitely not a safe queen. It was worn and loved. The lugs are okay. I mean, it's definitely been polished, but there is, still distinct lines on those big bevels that you used to see back then. And this is, hadn't even noticed, this is actually a pointed crown guards example, which is a lot more uncommon. Was, for a long time they're a lot more desirable as well. The market has kind of cooled down for these types of cases, but if you're still looking for a gilt Rolex, I think that this is a time to buy. There was a recent talk in Miami Watch Show where there was a symposium, and the question that was posed was, is it time to buy, sell, or hold for gilt Rolex? And I think that the consensus that they came out to be was hold. And for people who have Rolex examples, gilt Rolex examples, I definitely agree. I think it's a hold proposition because they are so cheap compared to where they were 2 years ago. But if you're looking to buy, I think, like, if you were in the market for one, I think it's definitely the time to buy. They're at the cheapest that they've been, since pre-COVID, so 5-6 years now, like back down to like 2018 prices, in some cases even cheaper than that. So yeah, this is a well-worn example. Definitely not a safe queen, but honest. Looks like everything's original. Possibly the hands have been reloomed. We'll figure that out in a little bit. So that'll be cool to photograph and get up on the site. There seems to be one last box in here, so let's take a look at that. Tudor Ranger. Wow. Another one that I haven't seen in quite a while. This one is a reference 7995. So this one came out in like 1965, I believe, It looks like it's on the original rivet bracelet. We'll check that for the date code. This one, yep, so looks like first quarter of 1966. So on its original rivet bracelet, which looks like, I mean, it has some stretch obviously, but it's in pretty darn good shape for, you know, a watch that's like 60 plus years old. Tapers nicely, which I love on bracelets. I think that, you know, more brands should continue to get a nice long taper, and please brands, get some more adjustable links on this side, especially for us small-wristed folk, so that way we don't end up with a watch that's with the clasp all the way over here. We all would thank you. But this is a cool watch. This is Tudor's version, basically, you know, of that Explorer as well. So having the Ranchero that came with this, plus this one, that's pretty cool to see different iterations and takes on that watch. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. It was fun to share this process along with you. If you like this type of content, please let me know. We can kind of do these types of videos in the future, and please, if you would, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. Like I said, leave a comment below of which one that you guys thought was the coolest watch, and if you like this content, you know, be sure to let us know so we can do more videos like this in the future. All right, take care.